Hey everyone. A little earlier time today, 5 p.m. Amy Lynn, happy Saturday. Hello, Wendy on Twitch. And Wendy on YouTube. Jerry, what's up? Alright, Wendy's gonna make some tea. Very cool. Hey Janice, I'm here for a while. Me too. It's gonna be a short broadcast today. I didn't even bring any coffee down with me, so that's when you know it's gonna be a short show. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on today. I taught lessons this morning since noon, or early afternoon. Just finished up a little while ago, grabbed a little lunch, and set up for some hang jam time. Fun facts together for today's episode, and this strap, yeah, we'll talk about the strap in a little while when we get some more people on. Awesome, thanks. One of my former students from many years ago, Matt Lukish. Awesome. Thanks for the memories. Absolutely, man. And likewise, so I'm going to plan it better because today I just want to do a short, episode. But if I get into what I am thinking about with you, it's going to take forever. So I don't have time to get into that. But in my quest for finding some things from Matt took lessons with me in 1989 or earlier, probably up until early 90s, 91, 92. I don't remember when, but he was with me for a while. And now Matt is a very, very talented tattoo artist, so look him up. He's amazing. The artwork is ridiculous, and I'm not just saying that because he's a former student. It's the truth. So check him out, Matt Lukish, over on, I believe you can probably find his tattoo page on Facebook. Matt, if you want, just pop up the name of your website or whatever. I don't care. I'm good with that, so go for it. But in my quest of finding some things that he gave me back when he was taking lessons, and he drew some stuff for me, I found this strap. So this was my strap from when I was like, my God, I must have been 12 or 14 and into Ozzy Osbourne. So I found this strap. It's all spikes, and it's really cool. I actually had this made. Matthew Lukish on Facebook. You got it. Go check him out. Incredibly talented artist. The tats are realistic. They look alive. It's crazy. If I was into tattoos, I would definitely find you and come to you. All right, so back to the strap. So let's kill the sound effect. I think we have enough people to just get into it here. Go out with some riffage. All right, so there used to be this flea market in, I guess it's Garfield. And if anybody's from New Jersey and you were around in the 80s, you would know that there was this place called the Markel Paper Factory. And it recently burnt down, which was insane because it burnt down right before the pandemic. And believe it or not, most of the country got their toilet paper from Markel. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But the Markel Paper Factory was right across the street from what's now a, I think, trucking warehouse. But the building that was across the street, which is across the highway, okay, was this giant building that they used to do a flea market every Sunday. And it was just really awesome because back then the flea market was with actual, like, talented vendors who would sell their stuff. And one of the guys there was a leather worker. He made this strap. He also made me some studded wristbands and a belt. And I found all of that stuff in a box the other day. Yesterday, while I was looking for something that Matt gave me because I wanted to show it to him. And that I still have it, which is for another show. But the strap and the belt and the things around the arm, the cuffs, were inspired by Randy Rhoads. I was a huge fan of Randy Rhoads, as you all who have been tuning in know by now. And so my mom would take me to this flea market. And they had everything. They had photographers who actually took pictures of Randy Rhoads. So I bought some of those pictures, which are still framed, and I found those too when I found the picture that Matt drew me yesterday. Well, he didn't draw it for me yesterday. I found it yesterday, and he drew it in 1989. But anyway, so I found this box full of these cool photos. They're all framed, Randy Rhoads live. And then in another box right next to it, I was like, what is this? And it was this strap with the cool cufflink things and the belt. So I figured, you know what? Let's put that on the Pia today. And it looks pretty awesome, I think. And of course, Edward Van Halen had a very similar strap on his black and white Frankenstrap before it became the red and white and black Strat that everybody knows him for so well today. But on the first album cover of Van Halen 1, you'll see that guitar. Not that actual one, but one like it. Oh, you can see my reverse cam. There we go. That guitar with a similar strap. And I was like, you know, my two heroes are using this really cool strap. I want one. So off to the flea market. Had the guy make me one. And he made me those wristbands as well. Now, I was really young, so he had some leather left over and made the strap and the belt from the same stuff. All right, so let's see. I didn't try the belt on to see if that fit, but oddly enough, the position of where I played my guitar has not changed in, I don't even know how long I've been playing, like 38 years or something crazy like that. So it's still right where I want it, and that's like a key thing for players. I think is a good topic to talk about, is consistency on where your guitar hangs. I think it's really bad posture and is damaging to your body when you hold the guitar way down here, because it puts pressure on this wonderful spot of your wrist, which contains something called the carpal tunnel. And when you're doing that, you're basically cutting that off and really putting a lot of stress and pain on your, possible pain on your fingers. Yeah. So, wearing the guitar at least belt buckle level or higher is what I recommend. And of course, all the nerdy shredder guys that I like John Petrucci and Al Di Meola, and the list goes on, they all wear their guitars high. So when I was young, I wanted to be a shredder, and I saw that Eddie had his kind of high, considering it was a little above the belt line. Steve Vai, he's super tall, but his is about the belt buckle area. Jimi Hendrix, same thing. I think his was a little higher. So I started to see this trend, is what I'm getting at, because back when I was learning, there was no YouTube and no live streams where you can pick up some tips from people. You had to just figure it all out on your own. And there wasn't even video interviews, let alone audio interviews. So I was just doing research by watching, looking at all these pictures. And I would just notice that a trend on all the good players, the guitar was not down to your knees like say Jimmy Page. I'm trying to think of who else is from that genre and that time frame, but Jimmy had his guitar really low, and I noticed that he wasn't as accurate as the other guys. Still a great player, but anyway, let's see. We have a bunch of people jumping on, so let me say hi before I get on with my tangent of leather studded straps. All right, so looks like we left off with Matt and Wendy, and here we are. Surfer Boy just got in. Hey, from Boston. Hello. A nice metal horns to Boston over there. Hope everybody's doing great. Could be a very busy weekend for people, making food up for tomorrow, so I appreciate you all being here with me right now. Let's see. John says, Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to you too, sir. Let's see who else is hanging. John Ramsey, hello. Hello at Vince Janella, at What's Cooking Wendy, and everyone here. We'll give you back some of these live. There you go. Let's see who else. Wendy. Oh, I need some tattoo art drawn up. Yes. Yes, Wendy has a couple of cool tats. But they need to be reinvigorated, I think. I think she was saying that she wanted to get something done there. And inked. Yeah, that's probably what she's talking about. There you go. And again, everybody, I'm going to just keep plugging him because, you know, he's a great guy. Matt Lucas, check him out on Facebook. Let's see here. John. Hello, John. Hello. We got 3 Johns in a row. Surfer Boy. I just watched a video on my way home from VH covering Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. Yeah, you know what? Van Halen started out as a cover band. A lot of people don't know that, and of course the Van Halen fans do. But they started out as a cover band, and being the way Eddie was, and from the rock side, and Dave was more of a disco guy, they never covered stuff exactly the way it went. There was always their own spin to it, which you could see on anything that ever made it to a album that's a cover. Like Pretty Woman, the whole riff, they took out that middle section and changed it up. They always made everything their own, which was really cool. And a lot of people don't know that they were a very big cover band in the LA area. Played every party you could think of. They were just like that band. Give them a gig, they would play it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Miss Mr. Edward, even though he wasn't really putting out anything too regularly. But that last album with Dave was great, I think. I still think that was a really great comeback album. Let's see. Wendy's back from the tea break. She's saying hello to everybody. Very cool. I know a guy that makes great guitar straps. He has a great shop here in Boston area. Carlino's. I know Eddie. You tell Eddie I said hello. And yesterday, Paul, who was on, and I was talking about Paul making that strap that's on my Randy Rhoads guitar. He's another very talented strap maker, and he also does guitar setups, and he's in the same area. So you may be wondering, geez, how do you know Eddie Carlino? Which I'll get into in a moment. I just want to make sure I see everybody who jumped on. Yeah, see that? Don't want to miss Mr. Formiati. Hello, hello, hello. He's all the way in Australia. All the way in Australia. It's such a diverse group of people here. It's awesome. It's like people are like, oh, when are you going to play out? When are you going to play out? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm in no rush right now. And my drummer moved away, and I got another drummer who lives an hour away, and my bass player owns a comic book store now. And so everybody's busy. But I'm like, where else can I play to, like, people all over the world? It's like impossible unless I'm on tour, which who knows what that's gonna ever come true. But I don't care for that, so I'm good doing this. This is fun. All right, so let's see. Don't make me blush. Oh man. So if anybody else has a Twitch account, please jump over there. I'm trying to get to the affiliate member status, which doesn't cost anybody anything. You just have to go over there, either sign up. If you don't have an account, it's free. It would be awesome. It would really help me out. And if I get at least 3 commenters every time that I go live, it brings me to the next level. So please go over there and just say hello, even if it's like, for like 10 minutes, you just stay over there for a bit and then come back to your favorite, your platform if you're on Facebook or YouTube and you'd rather stay there. But I'm warning you, you make a Twitch account, you'll see and hear that the video and audio quality is way better over there. Just saying. All right, so let's see. Mr. Formiati says Albert King wore his guitar strap over his shoulder. Was it on his right shoulder? I don't remember. But a lot of these guys, they all have their own thing, which is really awesome. Let's see here. You can learn so much from just pictures, trust me, because that's how the first probably 20 years of my guitar education was snapshots, going to live shows because there was no YouTube, so I'd have to go and see the people. Let's see. It's very different practicing sitting down opposed to standing. Strap makes a difference. Yes, and that was the other thing I found, that I hate sitting and playing, but I would be able to nail things better when I was sitting because the guitar was in a certain spot. And basically, my guitar does not move from where it was when I was sitting and when I'm standing. So that's why I wear the strap where I do, because I sit with my guitar on my left leg with it up, and that way I can shred and do what I got to do. And when I stand, it's in the same spot, and it's not moving my arm in a different spot, because all of that gets to be a little frustrating when you don't know. Like, you'll stand up and go, why is everything different? And that's why. Matt has to get back to work. Awesome, Matt. Take care. Go draw up some wicked tattoos. And I'll talk to you soon. I'll give you a heads up when I'm gonna do the picture and the keychain thing and all of that other cool stuff that I want to talk about. All right, so let's get back here. That taste difference between Dave and Eddie made them a better band. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was huge. Like, that's really what got them, their style. Let's see. Next time I stop in, I'll say hi for you. Yeah, Eddie. So back to Eddie. I see there's other things that I want to address here, but Eddie Carlino, great guitar builder, makes straps. I don't know what year it was. I'm going to guess it was 2001 or 2004 tops. I was doing clinic tours for Randall and Parker, and we went out, and he was brand new. He was just opening his store. I forget what he did full time for a living, but he said that he was going to keep his day job for as long as he could because he wasn't sure how this music store thing was going to go. And it's going great. He's made stuff for Paul Stanley from Kiss, other famous artists. So he's got his own line of guitars. So Carlino Guitars. If you go check him out, tell him that I sent you. Yeah, he's a good dude. He is a good dude. So we did this clinic tour there, and I remember there's a handful of stores that take guitar clinics seriously, and he was one of them. He set up. I gotta try and find the picture. He set up about 8 stacks of Randall amps. So I was playing in front of 8 stacks of Randall 4x12 cabinets. It was really cool. We were doing the Randall MTS modular tube system was what I was using and demoing, and then the Parker Fly. And his store was one of the best prepared. He had seats set up. I think he even had, like, not catered, but he had snacks for people. Other stores, I'd get there an hour before to set up my stuff, and they wouldn't even have the amps out of the boxes yet. Terrible, terrible business models, these guys. One of the biggest offenders. I'll leave it at that. We won't. One of the chain stores. Let you guys figure it out. Got there. Guys didn't even care. Nothing was set up. All the boxes were still in the shipping section of the store. Knuckleheads. And Stu Ham was playing with me. It was his tour and my tour, and they weren't even ready for us. And Stu was so mad. He's like, you know what? We should just leave. And I actually agreed with him. I'm like, yeah, let's just go get pizza and hang out somewhere. And who cares about these guys? But yeah, they moved it and set everything up. Let's see. On my way. Awesome, Janice. Oh, and there you are. I am here. Thank you for getting over to the Twitch area and saying hello. Amy Lynn Tucker. Awesome. Thank you. So cool. So cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, what I need is if once I become an affiliate, then I can get paid to stream, which is awesome. You know, it won't be much, but it'll be something. And it doesn't cost you guys anything. Actually, zero. Just if you're there, then just hang. Say a couple of things, and I'm all hooked up. Let's see. That's why I had to play on my left leg. Yes, thought that's why I had to play on my left leg. Yeah, so like if you play on the left leg, the guitar sits in just the right spot. And also, when you sit with the guitar on your left leg, you very seldomly see somebody playing guitar like this, standing up on their right side, pointing out. It's not a machine gun. It's an instrument. And you got to play this way, right? So now check this out. Again, if I'm sitting like this and I stand up, my guitar is right where I left it. So I don't have to think about where my fingers are. It's just automatic. So I think posture and holding the guitar in the right spot is super important. And it helps. Steve Vai was, definitely sitting wrong for many years. He admits to it. Right leg hunched over. So right leg hunched over gives you carpal tunnel and shoulder problems. Guy like Steve Vai plays 1 million hours a week, and in 2020 he wound up having carpal tunnel surgery on his wrist, and he had shoulder surgery. So there's a video. It's not for the weak. He actually videotaped the doctor. I don't even know like how this is a thing. Like I guess he was awake for the surgery, so he recorded it video on his cell phone and incorporated it into a video of him talking about his shoulder problem and his wrist problem. And you could see the incision, and the doctor has like tweezers, and he's pulling on the tendon, and Steve's fingers are moving. It's totally nuts. So, so he puts this video up, and it's called Knapsack. Now there's a short version of it, which is just the song, and then there's a half-hour version of it where he talks about these problems with his arm and his shoulder and his hand. Yeah, I agree. Like, totally nasty. Like, yeah. So, the thing is he built you up to this whole thing about how he sat wrong and you should sit this way. And I'm sitting there yelling at the TV going, I tell my students this all the time and nobody listens to me. And you're going to wind up with damage just like Steve, right? And I'm like yelling at the TV like an idiot. Anyway, at the end of the video, he plays a song that he wrote because he's been in an arm sling for like a half a year. So Steve Vai, being Steve Vai, sat there and played an entire song like this with no pick, arm in a sling. It's sick. It's crazy. So it's called Knapsack because the guy who did the surgery was Dr. Knapp, and he invented this sling, and he called it the Knapsack. So Vai, of course, being Vai, did that. All right, so there's my whole thing about sitting properly and not causing yourself damage. And it's also consistency. So like I said, when you stand up, the guitar is right where you left it from sitting down. So you're not guessing. When you stand up and your guitar moves, now the neck position is in a different spot, and you may wind up missing the fret, which has happened, especially if I switch from like this to like a Les Paul style guitar, because the neck distance is shorter. So when I go to play an A, it winds up being off. Really weird. But anyhow, posture is super important. So a footstool, which I'll show you guys and gals. Footstool. Nope, that's the reverse cam. Footstool. No, that's still reverse cam. Here we go. Oh, my light's off. I'll just pick it up and go back to here. Footstool. Okay, it's adjustable. It's for classical players, mainly. They're like $10 on Amazon. And the first person I actually saw sitting this way is a very famous picture of Randy Rhoads backstage practicing but on a classical guitar. So that was like, wow, look at how he's sitting. So I never knew that. And then years later, I took whatchamacallit, classical lessons, and the teacher was shocked I sat that way. He's like, "You're a rock guitar player, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Why do you sit like that?" I said, "Because it's better for your entire posture." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Most rock guitar players that come in, they take forever just to get used to this." He's like, "That's awesome." So we got right into playing, which was great, because I had the heads up on the posture thing already. And that was through, I think, through college. Let's see. But it's easier to see what you are doing when sitting. Yes, it is easier to see what you're doing when you're sitting, and also, if now it depends on what kind of stuff you're doing. You know, instrumental rock guitar lends itself to being a little higher up and okay and not as nerdy. But there are some gigs, like if I know it's just going to be mostly strumming and we're doing covers of like 70s rock and easier 80s tunes, then I'll lower the strap a bit just so I don't look like a total geek at the gig. But if we do something that requires more technique, then I'll raise the strap. And that's where my crazy strap lock idea comes into play here. Check this out. So this is usually the strap I use. You guys have seen this Moody leather. I'm just using this again because I just found it and it brought back memories. But look at all of those different strap lock ends. Okay? Those are there because when I'm at the gig, if I want to bring the guitar down, then boom, guitar's down quick. Like I could just snap it in. And then when I have the nerdy speed picking stuff, I could raise it up to the highest one. Okay, so that's why I have all these different levels. So usually on, and then plus these two are for the Strandberg. This one down here is for the Parker. This one backwards is if I only bring one strap to a gig and I use like the Pia or a Les Paul, because the Parker and the Strandberg have the strap button on the back of the guitar. So you have to kind of finagle it differently. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm joining Twitch. Awesome, man. Thank you, Surfer Boy. Appreciate it. I worked at Rockler Woodworking for a bit. He came in to pick out wood for guitar builds. Then we'd load them in his convertible Corvette. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's great. Yeah. Well, tell Ed I said hi. That's awesome. Eddie Carlino of Carlino Guitars. I always record docs during procedures on me when... Oh, okay. So we have a conversation going that I did not see. Someone else on here uses that stool. Oh, I get it. Yes. You're talking about Vi recording stuff. Yes. Oh, I'm not even going to get into that. I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Someone else on here uses that stool. Oh, cool. Yeah. Jason signed up on Twitch since you potentially saved me $1,000 today. Well, thank you. And I didn't mean to ruin your dream on that particular guitar. Again, I don't want to bash any company, especially on a live stream, but you know my feelings. So there you have it. Let's see. Welcome, Jason. All right, awesome. So we have a nice little crew happening here on Twitch now, and we have our Facebook group of people. We have our Facebook and YouTube. Well, 2 Facebook pages, which I want to check because I updated some stuff, and it's been totally not working the way I thought it would work. Let's see, refresh. Is it working? It is working. Look at that. So, interesting. And is it working on the other page, the other Facebook page? It should, because this is the one that always works. Where are you? Come on. Switch over. Looks that way. Yep. All right. So what's going on is I had to redo a couple of technical things, and I don't think a lot of people are getting notifications that I'm going live on Facebook, and I think it's because of the new Facebook algorithms. So that's why I'm pushing the Twitch thing and YouTube. Those are going to be my two main things, and eventually I'm just not even going to bother going live on Facebook. So, yeah, get yourself a Twitch account. All right, so let's see. What else was I going to talk? Okay, so I'm going to do a little playing, and then I have a couple of fun facts, guitar fun facts that we've been talking about during this live run. So I didn't talk about it, but it's in the description, and I think most people know by now. April is Guitar Month. It's International Guitar Month. It started in 1987, and it was just to popularize the guitar and accessories. I don't think it caught on as they thought it would, so unfortunately, whatever for them, but I just find it very cool to talk about guitar during Guitar Month. It's mainly to just get people excited about practicing for those who are already players. And then maybe someone will stumble across this, one of these across the month and say, hey, I've been thinking about playing guitar, and why not start now? Because it's Guitar Month, and then you'll know every year you started playing guitar in April. Yeah. But yeah, keep the guitar out on a stand. I've been saying that as a regular thing, so that way every time you pass it, it will call to you. Come and pick me up. Pick me up and play something. Pick me up and play a song. If you don't know songs, pick me up and make some noise. It's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to breathe. It's supposed to get you excited. So hopefully that'll happen for maybe some people who have lost the magic. And for those who have not lost the magic, it'll just inspire you more to play. All right, so let's see. I haven't played really any songs in months. I've been writing material for the website, which is, am I getting it right today? Yeah, right there. vinceslessons.com. There's nothing up there yet. I've just been writing I have to make digital PDFs of everything. I'm using some fantastic software, so it has the notation and the tablature. All of this stuff is all new to me, so I've been learning it. And then the next step is to record some video snippets of me doing everything. So that will all eventually be up on the site, along with a few courses for people to join up and check out. And then I'm also working on a community. So once you're a student, you will have access to the community and also other students. And you can hang out and chat and say, hey, Vince showed me this and I have no idea what he meant. Is anybody else working on it? Sure, here, this is how it goes, and you guys can work amongst yourselves. And then I pop in and answer questions. It's in beta right now. I have some of my private students already doing this. But once it's solidified and a little more solid and I know it's working the way it should, I'm going to go public with that part too. So it's really cool. It's going to be fun. Let's see. Let's do an original. This one is called Zero Gravity. We're going to do it on the awesome Onyx Pia. And I'm going to cut the mic so you guys get the good audio. microphone. All right. Thanks, Mr. Formiati. Appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. And Janice. John, he was jamming along with me. Awesome. Oh, yes. So my beloved Pia has a tremolo arm issue, and I haven't had time to fix it. So I have to keep winding it weird. This isn't like normal. And Ibanez was kind enough to give me a new arm, internal bushing, and the screw that connects the whole thing. And it's really kind of a freak thing because the other Ibanez guitars that I own, none of them have this problem. So I have no idea what is wrong with it and why it's stripped. But the problem is it's probably like a 2-hour job because the screw is stripped inside and I actually have to take the whole tremolo bar off and use a pair of pliers to unscrew it. But, you know, it has to be done. So I'm just trying to milk it. But I guess what I'm getting at is during the song, it wasn't working the way I intended it to. So it was really messing with me. Hey, Mom is on. Hello. Mom is on YouTube. Very cool. Yeah, so, you know, just again on for a shorter show tonight. Talking about, or this late afternoon, talking about guitar and why you should or shouldn't practice more. If you're playing with poor posture and bending your wrist, you shouldn't practice that way. So fix it. And then, you know, once you get used to it, it won't feel weird. One complaint everybody says is everything's so far away now. But when you stand up, that's where it is. So when you're sitting with the guitar on the other leg, you're usually hunched over and everything's kind of crunched. And your arm hits your body. That's totally wrong. And then your thumb is sideways, which we have a cool little thumb cam here. Let's go to a bigger one. So you could see this is totally wrong. You don't want that because that doesn't allow you to stretch. You know, I talked about this on one of the other episodes. Like, I'm not even acting. Like, I can't reach. That actually hurts. Like, I'm starting to feel it in here and over here on my thumb. And that's because this is just all wrong. If you do this, look at how far I can stretch now. I can play the 6th fret, like for real, without moving. So that's where all of this comes into play. So, you know, you sit properly and your hand automatically hangs in the right spot. Yeah. So hopefully that helps some people. It also takes the pressure off of your shoulder. And hey, Tom, I was just talking about you today to a friend of mine, telling him how we met up here on Facebook with the live streaming, and the very awesome email that you sent me, or message. I always get my platform terminology wrong, but yeah. So I was just telling a friend of mine that you never know who's watching and who you getting inspired to do stuff and get playing. So pretty cool. What's John have to say? Hello to you, lady of the house. Ah, that must be to Wendy. What's the hardest lick I can play? Oh my God. Let's see. I would think probably one of my own is a real pain in the butt, because I don't really play covers too much anymore. I think at the beginning, the hardest lick for me to play was the F sharp minor bit in Crazy Train. Let's get over to here. That riff there, that was always weird to me. So, I forget it now. So that was probably one of the tougher ones. But I'd say now the riff at the end of my own song called "Funk Me Silly," which was a inspired riff by Joe Satriani in Satch Boogie years ago. So you guys heard me do this song before. So there's a riff at the end, and that's how it would stop right there. And I just blew it because I'm not warmed up. But that riff there always drives me crazy because there's a lot to it. There's a bunch of slides and new positions, and then like a arpeggio kind of rake thing at the end. So that's probably my hardest lick. And then maybe another one from thank you. Definitely appreciate it, man. Another original that I have called Mojo Madness, there's a middle section that's just I can't even attempt it right now because I haven't played this song in a really long time, like years. But there's a whole tapping section, and it's really like technically not hard because it's pentatonic stuff, but man, it's a pain in the butt to play. See, your arm, if your clothes, that's another thing. When I play gigs, I usually don't wear long sleeve shirts because when I start to do tapping, I wind up muting myself all over the place unintentionally, and it drives me crazy. But I'm not going to be able to do this riff, but it's a very crazy tapping riff. I gotta practice. Hey, Rob MC is here. What's up? That sounded a bit like Van Halen, Ron. Yeah, I can't help it. Eddie, Randy Rhoads, and then of course Joe Satriani, and then Steve Vai are all like my main influences. Some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, sleeves suck. Yeah, they do. It's really tough. So yeah, usually when I play live, there are no sleeves, 0 sleeves. Not good. Not good. Archie, what's going on, Archie? Hey, Shredder Man Vince. Hey, Archie, what's going on? Glad to see you on a Saturday and at a weird time. 4 or 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock is when I started, yeah. Let's see, all the greats. Yes. Yeah, I just, I was fortunate to have my mom, who played a lot of classic rock radio at the time, was Current Radio. And it was just like, wow, these riffs were just so cool. One thing, if you're from New Jersey, there was this really awesome, and I found it once, and I should have saved it. And when I say saved it, I should have pirated it off the YouTube channel that I found it on. But there was a place called Raceway Park, Englishtown, New Jersey, and they had this cool guitar riff in their commercial. And I always wanted to learn it. And I could hear it in my head. I wonder if I could figure it out. No, it's just a weird riff. Yeah, that's the beginning of it. And then it did this really cool riff. I don't know if anybody, Janice knows the commercial. Okay. I'm in that radio area. Awesome. So you know the commercial I'm talking about. It had such a cool guitar riff. And I know it started out with this. It's something in that area. I'm going to have to find it. But I have to find that commercial. That riff was just so cool to me. And I'm wondering if it was from a song or if they just had some studio guy write it for the commercial. You know, and you'd have the crazy... again, you'd have to be from New Jersey to know this. But they had like the crazy laugh box from the 70s start off the commercial. It would be like, Raceway Park. And then it would start with the really cool guitar riff. So that was like another thing like I was like influenced by. It was just good guitar riffs, you know. And back then between, you know, 80s, late 70s, 80s, and 90s, there was just so much guitar on the radio. And I heard a lot of it because my mom played the radio. Let's see. Man, I love that guitar. Thank you. This is, you haven't been around in a while, so I didn't ditch my Parkers. I love my Parker guitars. I can't say enough about them. They're incredible instruments. Nothing plays like a Parker. They're just so easy to play. But you know, they're not making them anymore, and I just was like, you know, I was endorsed by them, and I was loyal to them for years. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I want to just play whatever I want to play. And I tried some new stuff. This is Wendy's fault because she bought that pink Pia. I don't know if you've been around to see the pink Pia, Archie, but that thing is just unbelievably beautiful. And then they released this black one, and I was like, oh, I gotta have that because my colors, it's the Vince outfit, black and gold. You know, I got the gold hardware and the black outfit. So that's the guitar. You know, it's like the Les Paul Custom from when I was younger. You know, that was my main guitar. But yeah, I love that color combination. I also love the new Strandberg guitars. Those are amazing. But I figured, you know, if I start playing any kind of guitar clinics in music stores, they really frown on you using stuff that they can't get a hold of and sell, and considering Parker's out of the game, the retail game, as far as new instruments go, you can get them used on eBay, but you can't walk into a Sam Ash or a Guitar Center or any of these places like the mom and pop shops where I would be doing clinics again. You can't walk in and buy it. So I figured, you know, let me check out some of the brands that I used to love, which was the Ibanez. And then the Strandberg got on my sights because of a couple of former students that I turned on to Parker's. Well, after Parker went away, they wound up gravitating towards Strandberg, which is an equally light, super, you know, ergonomic guitar. So I figured, you know what? If I play one of these stores, I could bring a couple of those guitars, and managers at the stores won't be like, hey, you know, my guys can't buy that. My customers can't buy that. You can't play here with that guitar. Tom, how many Parkers do I have? Oh man, I have a lot. That is the guitar I've been playing for like 20 more years. Man, what year did I, probably close to 30. What year did I started playing them? In 95, I think. So I have a good amount, like a lot. I don't even want to tell people, it's like an addiction. But some I got for doing work for them, and they paid me in a guitar. And most of all the other ones I bought on my own before I became endorsed. And then after I found out that they were going out, I started looking for really good deals on colors that were very rare. So tune in tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because tomorrow is an anniversary. Yes, see, Wendy's on it. Tune in tomorrow for the Easter guitar. So I have this other student, and he got heavily into Parkers at one point, and he would text me. He had Parkers on alert on eBay and on Reverb. And every time one went up, within seconds, he would text me. Did you see this one? I'm like, no, I'm not like stalking out Parkers. No, like I have plenty and I don't care. But that changed. So he would instigate me, and I'll never forget this. We're driving to Easter dinner, and I'm not driving. Wendy's driving. I'm the passenger, and my phone goes off, and it's this student Alex, and he's like, "Dude, did you see this Parker? Oh my God!" And I couldn't believe it, and you'll see that one tomorrow. Some people have seen me play it. It's been a long time since I've played it. It's a 7-string Parker. They did very few of these, like maybe 4 or 5. So I have 1 out of 4 or 5. And my wife is a bad influence. So I was like in shock at this guitar, and we literally pulled over and she bought it for me. That's hilarious. She's great. Wendy's the best. What do you think of PRS? I like those guitars. I was just telling one of my students today about Paul Reed Smith. The dude's a genius, first off. He's a very, very intelligent guy. He knows woodworking, and he's also doing some stuff which I really admire in the medical field for lung cancer. Look it up. Yep. Just dial in Paul Reed Smith and lung cancer, and you'll see some really cool things. But anyway, he's a character. A lot of people, don't get on with him, but he's a super smart guy, and he knows his craft. I love the guitars, but they're not really for me. I've played a bunch of them. I have students that have them. Actually, years ago, when I was working at Bach to Rock Music, we did have... My manager had one of the first Custom 24s in like the early 90s. I don't even know if it was called a Custom 24. That was the first time I actually played one, and I loved it. But the thing that I hated about it was so impractical to play live, because back then the toggle switch was like this 10-way switch that you had to turn. And he and I were in a band together, and he brought it and he let me use it I just used it for one song. He's like, you could use my guitar if you want for the night. And I wasn't into anybody else's guitars except my own at the time. I really was comfortable. Again, like I get really comfortable on an instrument and I stick with it. So I figured, let me just try his PRS. I played it for one song and I gave it back to him. I said, dude, that freaking toggle switch is ridiculous. Like, how do you do that? Like, you can't switch quickly live. So they did away with that, or they only have it on certain models now, but they actually have a real toggle switch on the guitars. Yeah. Do I have a Kiesel? Archie asks. No, but I've played them, and they are awesome guitars. Again, I was looking for a headless guitar when I started getting into them, and I tried them at the 2019 NAMM show, and they played great. But besides the Vader, I didn't think the body shapes and the Zeus at the time were, I think, the only two that were that dramatically different from a regular guitar. And they had some other ones, but they really just looked like a Strat with a headstock cut off. And I wasn't really into that. I wanted something unique, especially coming off of the Parker Fly. The Parker Fly is just it's a very distinguished looking instrument. It has its own thing. and that's what I like about the Pia, because of the inlays, the gold hardware, like I talked about, the insane etchings on the pickups. It just makes it very unique. So I like unique guitars. Um, the John Petrucci Majesty is another one that I really like because it's a very unique looking instrument. Um, so let's see. New York Radio. How many Parkers do you have? Wonder why they went out of business. Well, I could do a whole episode on that. Poor management. Building guitars that are worth $8,000 to $10,000 and selling them for 2, 4, and 6 tops at the time were like the really high end stuff. Also, the timing was bad. Um, in the 90s when they first came out, everybody was still hung up on Gibson and Les Pauls. Ibanez was even struggling. They were like, oh, that's weird, and they had the Steve Vai green stuff, and people were just like, no, I want a guitar. And in everyone's mind, a guitar is a Les Paul or a Fender Strat because you had those guitars in the mainstream on MTV and that sort of stuff. In the 80s, the Ibanez stuff started to get a little more popular. But then in the 90s, when Ken came out with that Parker Fly, it was just like, what is this? And it scared people. They didn't like it. It was too different. And of course, I have it right here because, this guitar has been with me. This is my first one. It's so light. It's so ergonomic. It's the first ergonomic guitar ever. You sit with it. It balances perfectly. I don't even need a guitar strap. But there's a whole bunch of things that really put them out of business. Plus, now with the way the supply chain is, I don't even know if they would be able to manufacture this thing in any kind of a timely manner. The fretboard is a composite material made out of carbon fiber and glass. First guitar company ever to use stainless steel and to use carbon fiber as a reinforcement for strength. And to get it this thin, you need the carbon fiber to reinforce it. Super light. First guitar company to have a piezo pickup, so you get the acoustic sound. So they've really done, a whole re-engineering of guitar, really. And that also scared the bigger companies. So there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes. Let's see. Tune in tomorrow for the Easter show. Yes. I'm going to be practicing tonight. That's the someone. You know that. That's what the winky face is for. I haven't played a 7-string in months. Easter show. Will there be bunnies? I don't think so. Maybe. You never know. Let's see. Tom asked, tube amps or fractal? Well, forever I was always into the digital thing. Excuse me. But I always combined a lot of digital and tube. But I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 95, I started going all digital with Digitech and Boss and ART. I tried all of them, and nothing sounded like a tube amp. But the convenience was there, and all the different sounds that I needed for a lot of the gigs that I was doing was there. But it never quite sounded the way I wanted it to, until I got a fractal. That was just like night and day. So now, yes, it's totally fractal. I don't use any tube amps at all. Got a Friedman. Oh, cool. Run to 20. Yeah, those are great. And actually, one of the amps that I really love in the Axe-Fx is the Friedman. I use that forever as one of my main amps. Yes, it plays amazing. This is... I can't even say enough about it. You know, it's just it's sad that they're out of business because this guitar was and is groundbreaking material as far as guitars go. You know, it's just a shame. You know, what can you do? So it stays in tune. I can beat the hell out of it, and it stays in tune. You know, yes. See, Tom thinks the Fly sounds better. It does. It has such a great tone to it. So again, for me personally, I love the Parker Fly, and it's my favorite guitar. And the Strandberg is a close second as far as ergonomics and tone quality. But I do really love the Pias. They're pretty sick. But yes, they are. See, that's the whole other thing. It's because of the way the guitars are designed. The notes are very articulate and clear. Especially, you know, I just beat it up with the tremolo bar, and it's still in tune. G chord, right? So, but the notes are very articulate, and when you play a chord, with most guitars, especially the G chord, gets lost. You hear every note. And now I'll bring, now that's at half gain or less. That's probably, yeah, way less. Now I'm going to boost it. Just real quick, we go down here. Nope, wrong. I always get this wrong. Still getting it wrong. There you go. So you can't see it good because the light's off. But if you look to the top left of your screen, you'll see my foot move. That is my volume. So that's full volume, and you can hear every note. So the clarity on the Parker Fly is unmatched. What settings do you have on that Fractal? These. So I'm using the Friedman. No, I'm using the FAS Modern. That's what I'm using on this one. That's right, I switched. The FAS Modern is basically I think it's like a conglomerate of Marshall and Friedman amps, which a Friedman is basically a clone, souped up Marshall. But yeah, that's what this is. That is the FAS, which stands for Fractal Audio Systems Modern 3. The amp is killer. Basically what I'm doing here is if you look at my volume pedal, check this out. So if I move my foot, we got to turn this light on because you guys can't see what the heck I'm talking about. It's ridiculous. There we go. All right. So there's the pedal board on the floor. Oops. So this pedal here, you see how my foot is moving back and forth like that? That's my volume. Right now it's off or low, right? So it's not behaving. Why isn't it behaving? Let's try this. Shut that off. There we go. Oh, now we have flanger. Wrong. There we go. Now we're back to where I want to be. All right, so this pedal acts as my volume knob on my guitar. So while I'm playing, I can go from a very, light distortion. Now remember, I haven't changed anything on the amp. And you can see the volume moving over here, right? You see that guy. So, yeah. Let's get out of here. Zip. Okay. So, Tom... That's very articulate. Digital has come a long way since my day. Oh my God, yes. Even since my day. And I've been kind of following it along and buying the next thing, and this is the last thing. Like, this is it. The Fractal has definitely surpassed everybody. And that's why everybody uses it. That's, a pro. John Petrucci has a Fractal. Steve Vai, whatchamacallit, Joe Satriani. Recently, the whole world flipped out because, well, the guitar world, and I don't know if you heard about it, but what's his name? John Mayer started using it for fly dates instead of bringing his whole rig with him. He would just use a Fractal. So yeah, it's just it's another tool that sounds incredible, and logistics and weight, all of that stuff, especially now with gas prices and travel and cartage costs and extra fees on the plane. You could literally take an FM3 in your carry-on and your guitar over your shoulder and go play a gig somewhere and not have to travel with amp cabinets and pedal boards. It's too costly these days. It's insane. Let's see. Angelo's here. It's nice to see the M&M is a little... This is actually the different one. Angelo. I'll bring it out and I'll show everybody, and I'm embarrassed about it. So, oops. Jeez. I almost dropped the guitar. That would have been bad. The stand folded up on me. Actually, let's switch it out. So, this is the first guitar that my wonderful wife bought me. This guitar is amazing, and it's on my merch. I love this guitar. It's my favorite guitar. But it lost a fret, and this unfortunately happens to be one of the guitars during the year in which they kind of cheesed out on the glue. So they got a bunch of people in Parker telling them, hey, you need to change what you're doing, and you need to, cut corners here and there. And then guess what happens? Quality control goes out the window. But yeah, this was the first guitar my wife ever bought me. And I love this thing. And I would play with Lou Pallow from the Les Paul Trio every week. And this was probably my main guitar for that gig. I brought my Les Paul a few times, but oddly enough, one of the times that I brought it, Lou said, why don't you bring your other guitar? He goes, I like the contrast between our playing, and you do a lot of the stuff with the bar. And he said to me, I actually really miss that, because we would do Sleepwalk. And without the bar, I can't do all the cool slidey things. So we would do Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny. I don't think I can do it with the fret missing. So clearly you can see there is no fret here. And I tried to fix it myself, and I screwed up the guitar, and I'm just terribly embarrassed about it. Not only embarrassed, but I messed it up, and I should just, not try and fix Parkers. I can do other stuff on other guitars, but Parkers are a whole different animal. But anyway, here's the riff. If I could play it on here without that fret. Oh yeah, I could. Look at that. So I would do this at the beginning of the sleepwalk. It would go. Hold on. And then I would go. Yeah, sure. That's what I would do. Not at all. You know, none of that stuff would be doable without the bar. So Lou was like, bring the blue guitar. Bring. So I would, and Angelo would see this guitar, and it's become the staple, the blue M&M. So that's it. It's a beautiful guitar, but I can't play it for the shows because I need that fret. I'm guaranteed to hit something, and what happens is without that fret, it sounds pretty bad. So if I'm playing a D, it's gone. Yeah, so I got to get that fixed. Anyway, it's got a bunch of really cool stuff. It has the piezo in it, so it's got the acoustic sound. And then when you dial this knob here the opposite way, it brings the electric back in. The other great thing about this is you thought I had Sustain before. I see that Tom posted that here. Sustain forever, yes. And always been a tube snob, but I have to admit that Fractal is awesome and light. Not like a Fender Twin or Twin Reverb. No, not at all. But check this out. This pickup here is called the Sustainiac. Okay? And it's just badass. It'll never stop. And I can make it go an octave higher. So it's a fun guitar, and that's it. I got to get this thing fixed because I miss it. My God, this guitar is awesome. It also has this hookup for the guitar synth. So technically, this guitar is an Adrian Blue signature model guitar. Yeah, you know what, Tom? Janice writes, awesome, thank you. Infinite sustain, yes. I mean, you literally could put it down, it'll be feeding back until the battery dies, which is probably about a week or a month. I never tried that. Maybe I could win the Guinness Book of World Records for the single longest note ever held. Yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, the Neil Sean thing. Neil has a sustainer. That's how he gets that sound. So that is the Neil Sean sound. He uses Fractal. Yes. I think the first time I saw the M&M was at the restaurant in Little Falls. Probably, yeah. Wendy got this for me in 2012. You know, this means a lot, this guitar. So, you know, I need to get it fixed, and then, you know, I'll play it more. But unfortunately, with that fret missing, it's just a real hassle to play any kind of, you know, stuff. Drive the neighborhood nuts. Yes, especially if I hit the high notes, the dogs in the neighborhood will go crazy. Oh, yeah. So let's see, what else is going on? Oh, hey, almost missed Mr. Dwight. Dwight Bailey. Stop moving. There it is. Dwight. Hello, Dwight. Dwight says hello to everyone. All right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, this guitar again is just a beautiful instrument. Adrian Blue wanted the guitar synth hooked up, so this is his signature model. It's actually called Blueberry, spelt like his last name. And it has the Sustainiac, the sweepable acoustic to electric, and a three-way toggle switch, because he came from the other Parker Fly, which had a three-way toggle switch as well. But he also liked, and they were mini toggles, more like what John Petrucci models have, which is another thing that I feel that Music Man took from Parker. The ideas are the piezo, the mini toggle switches, the humbucker idea, but when you go to the middle, it only uses these two coils of each pickup, so you get a very stratty inner sound, which is really cool. And then what else about this guitar? The guitar synth, and these are all Adrian's like main things that he wanted on a guitar, and 24 frets, so it's like super high reach. And again, the cutaway on the Parkers were the highest, or the best cutaways up until the Petrucci model came out, with a neck through. So there's absolutely no heel here, which is something else that I really love about the Parker Fly guitars. This one's actually called a DF Dragonfly model. But I hated for years playing guitars that had bolt-on necks. And one time in like the early, no, it was like 88 or 87, I can't remember. But yeah, it was about then. I started working at this little music store in Waldwick, New Jersey. And it was called SG Music. And I think it just stood for the owner's name, Steve, and his last name I can't remember right now. Great guy, unfortunately passed away, but he got this Crackle Jackson guitar in, and it had a neck through, so no heel, and that was the first time I ever got to play one, and I was done. I was like, oh, I gotta have this guitar, and he gave it to me for a really good deal, which was nice because I worked there. And it was my main guitar for years. That was my favorite guitar. And then eventually, no other real companies that I liked had a neck through without the heel that had 24 frets, until Parker. And I found these guys, and I think it was early '95 was when I found them. And I've been using them ever since. So, it's just hard to leave them and then go to another guitar, and then when I come back and play it, I'm like, yeah, Parkers are still the best. Oh well, what can you do? All right, so I said I'd stay on for an hour. We're at an hour and a half. It's just so easy to talk to you guys and gals about guitar. I mean, I just love it, and I'll just keep going unless the power goes out. Someone stops me. But yeah, tomorrow we will see the Easter guitar, which I have affectionately called the Hulk, and you'll see why tomorrow. Yeah, so I don't know what time it will be tomorrow. I think, I don't know, I have to figure it out. A lot of people do Easter dinner at different times, so I don't know if I'm going to go on later after everybody's possible festivities are over, so like 8 o'clock, I don't know yet. Or I might go on earlier. I have no idea. Let's see, what did Janice say here? This was great. Sorry I missed a lot earlier in the stream of other days. That's okay. If you dig it and you want to jump on and watch some, replays, a lot of people have real good questions, and I go off on tangents sometimes, so you may learn something or not. But I appreciate anybody and everybody that stops in and hangs with me while it's live. It's definitely fun to be interactive with everybody and chat. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Nope. Looks like I got everybody. Awesome looking guitar. And Surfer Boy. Hello, Surfer Boy, rather. Yeah. I want to at least watch your birthday. Yeah, that one was good, and that one I talk about my student Matt, who was on earlier, the tattoo artist. I didn't mention him by name because I didn't know, I didn't want to embarrass anybody or anything like that. But he was a young kid, and I showed everybody my first guitar that my parents bought for me, and he would come every week and try and talk me into selling it to him. And then finally, I had enough guitars, and it was kind of the student guitar. When people came over, I would let them play it. And he loved the guitar, and he's like, oh, if you ever sell it, let me know. And he would ask frequently, a few times a month. He'd come once a week, sell me the guitar. And I wouldn't part with it. And then his mom called and wanted to know, advice on what guitar he should get next. I guess his birthday was coming up, or Christmas. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was his birthday. And she said, yeah, I want to get him something, and I said, well, he's always been asking me about this guitar I have, and I really don't want to sell it, but I like Matt, so why not? So I sold it to Matt. And many years later, we're talking that was 1989. I'm thinking it was in 2010. Another acquaintance of mine was friends with Matt, and we were talking, and I said, oh my God, Matt, whatever, and I sold him one of my guitars, and I just said I'd love to have that back, because that was the first real guitar my parents bought me, and and I wanted to have it back, especially since I went down and got it with my dad, and my dad passed away, and he was real sick at the time, so I really wanted to get the guitar back. So I asked Matt, I said, hey, I'll buy it back from you. And he's like, oh, I screwed it up. But you'll see some of that, and I talk about it in the birthday episode, and I show the guitar and I play it. So it's a cool guitar. All right. So tune in tomorrow. Not sure what time, and you'll get to see the Hulk, the Easter guitar. You're probably like, what is that? But you'll see. You'll see why it's the Hulk and why it's the Easter guitar. All right, everybody. If you celebrate, have a great Easter. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow. And again, I'm doing this every day in April for Guitar Month. And let's go out with a big, super sustained, screamy dive bomb delay disaster. Yeah.